You ready to go? Go ahead, Wesley Snipes. Get it. Okay, my bad, Wesley. Back up a little bit.
I need money.
Another little friend of yours. Get some of that. Get some of that. Get some.
That's ridiculous.
What's up? What's ridiculous about it? Apparently, Wall Street owes the Federal Reserve a big thank you. And I've got the big thank you right here.
This one was snacks, like you'll be at the refrigerator and you'll say, hey, do you want anything before I come back and sit down on the couch and watch this movie with you? No, I'm okay, I'm alright, I'm okay, cool. As soon as you sit down, you've got Bountiful Plenty, Super Feast. She's over there picking in your shit, like, what's this? Let me get some of that.
Every girl does that.
Everyone does that, though.
But I was just at the refrigerator.
What happens when you're too famous to do your job? Al Shearer lived that reality, and the story behind it is wilder than any role he's ever played. Born on July 20th, 1975 in the Bronx, New York, Al Shearer wasn't planning a career in entertainment. Entertainment was planning him. According to Al, he's been in this since he was hatched, born, or dropped from his alien craft, never to return home again. It's in his blood, his DNA. He was good at basketball but hated practice. That's just whack, he said. Acting, though, that was different.
I've always wanted to act. Just entertaining is in my blood, it's just in my DNA. I'm to think about it, it's just who I am.
At Howard University, Al majored in broadcast journalism with a theater arts minor, but Howard didn't have a real film department back then, just stage plays. Al needed to get in front of a camera, not stuck on a stage, so he used broadcast journalism as his back door into the industry.
Shout out to Howard University, HU, Blue Juice, do that. So broadcast journalism major, theater arts minor. Use broadcast journalism to get in front of the camera as opposed to behind it. They only had one major when he related to
He started in radio, got comfortable behind a microphone, then leveraged that into broadcasting. But he didn't want to do Don Lemon or Lester Holt. Nothing against them, but that news anchor life felt too bland, too stagnant for someone like a crazy wild spirit, a forest fire that doesn't burn houses down.
So I used the broadcast journalism aspect to get in front of the camera. Started with radio, and then from radio, segued that into like broadcasting, but didn't want to be the news anchor, didn't want to be Don Lemon. And then
from radio, he became a correspondent for BET's Teen Summit. That's when doors started opening.
I had to utilize that and use that aspect to be able to get in front of the camera, but not from broadcast. From a broadcast perspective, got behind the microphone and the radio, and then from radio, then segued in front of the camera. As a correspondent for BET on Teen Summit.
But the way he got his big break, that was pure Al Shearer. In the mid-1990s, Stephen Hill had just arrived at BET from MTV, scouting for fresh VJ talent. Al's friend Bianca Barnes called with the intel.
I ran inside Stephen Hill's office during the middle of a meeting, and a girlfriend of mine, Bianca Barnes, called me and said, hey, there's a new guy in town from MTV. He's looking for VJs at BET. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna call him tomorrow. She's like,
Al didn't waste time. He ran straight into Stephen Hill's office in the middle of a meeting. Are you looking for VJs? Hill looked up. Are you funny? Al's response? Hell yeah. Hill's challenge was simple. Put it on film, make me laugh. Bring it back if it's funny, don't bother if it's not. Al shot something Monday, brought it back Wednesday. Hill called Friday. Have a fantastic 4th of July weekend. We're about to change your life on the other side. The show's name came from that same conversation. They workshopped it right there while drinking. Hits from the streets. Done. Hits from the Streets was born, and Al gets full credit for the title. The segment became a cultural phenomenon. Al hit the streets with a camera crew, approaching random people to discuss music videos and pop culture. His energy was infectious. People would shout BET when they saw him. They'd ask where the cameras were.
How you doing, sweetheart? What's your name?
Why you put me on the spot?
I just want to know your name, girl.
I'm Jaja. How you doing?
How you doing?
During those BET years, Al also parodied D'Angelo's iconic Untitled How Does It Feel music video in 1999, showcasing his fearless comedy style. But that recognition, it was about to become his biggest career obstacle. In 2001, Al landed a role in How High with Method Man and Redman. What happened on that set became Hollywood legend.
Okay, but what's his name? I need money.
While most productions used prop weed, you gut a cigar, put more cigar material in, roll it smaller, basically a cigar transplant. Red and Meth had other plans. When studio executives walked on set, air fresheners came out. Everyone played it cool. The moment those suits left, back to the real thing. The entire trailer would cloud out like a California wildfire.
They did one smoke out with Cypress Hill, and B Real came to the set the day we did our scene. They smoked out of his trailer, and it was like a California wildfire.
Red and Meth burned actual cannabis for real in every scene. But what struck Al most was Redman's natural comedy. Method Man had his game face on, professional and focused. Redman, funny in ways people never saw on screen. Both were talented beyond measure, but seeing Redman in his element was a master class. How High became a cult classic, but it didn't make Al a household name.
Hey, what the is the plate for, man?
By 2003, though, something else would, and it would create the strangest career problem imaginable. When Ashton Kutcher launched Punk'd on MTV in 2003, he needed someone who could blend anywhere and sell any prank. Al Shearer became that person.
I programmed it. I've got 13 sets of codes in there. He cut it.
Man.
Could you just sit down here real quick, please? Tell me what the hell happened.
Working alongside Dax Shepard to prank Hollywood's biggest stars. The show debuted as MTV's second highest rated premiere, topped only by the Osbournes. Then it exploded. They were checking into a San Diego hotel for Super Bowl coverage when a 50-year-old white woman turned at the counter. Her eyes lit up. Oh my God, it's from BET. It's from the street. Al tried correcting her pronunciation, but damage was done. His producer pulled him aside. You're sitting on the bench from now on out. The logic was brutal, but undeniable. Punk'd pranks cost $50 to $400K to execute. If celebrities spotted Al walking toward them, they'd know something was up. They'd start looking for cameras, surprise ruined, money wasted, prank dead. Al Shearer became too famous to do his job. So good at his work, so recognizable for his talent that he couldn't be used anymore. But here's what makes Ashton different. He never tried hiding Al, never suggested putting him in makeup, molds, hats, wigs, or disguises to camouflage his face. He wanted people to see Al's face, wanted Al to get recognition, even if it meant pulling him from the show. That loyalty built something lasting. Years later, Al shot a pilot with Ashton for Comedy Central called Sheer Madness. Both produced it, Al starred. By Al's account, neither he nor Ashton messed it up. Somebody else fell asleep at the wheel, but he leaves that story on another page in another book for another time. The point stands, Ashton kept it real, always. If Al had an idea, Ashton listened. That's how real relationships work in Hollywood, even if they're rare. In 2005, Chris Rock was looking for someone to eventually take over his HBO talk show. He wanted Al Shearer. Chris Rock, one of the greatest comedians of all time, handpicked Al as his successor, an actual offer to step into Chris Rock's shoes on HBO.
Right now, like I said, we got two other projects he won't let me talk about right now, but we're building sandcastles to turn them into pyramids. So y'all get ready for that. And then hopefully something with Chris. Chris, if you see Chris Rock, tell him, hey man, holla at man. Holla at Al Shearer. Holla at Hips from the Streets. I'm looking for you, Chris.
Al's manager shut it down. He didn't want Al chasing Will Smith's talk show path. Didn't want him as a talk show host. He wanted Al to be a movie star. So Al turned down Chris Rock. Decades later, the weight is still there. He calls Chris Rock super duper, the funniest person on the planet, his biggest fan. The regret is palpable. Al is clear about what he is. I'm just a class clown. Bad Kennel aisle 3. Dropped from the mother crab, never to return to my home planet. Hatched from a bad egg. Not a stand-up, that's not my lane. He's got Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence, Richard Pryor ahead of him. Jerry Seinfeld sold Seinfeld for $280 million and still tours because he loves the rush. Chris Rock has $80 million in the bank and still does stand-up because it's in his blood. Vince Vaughn is funny, but not a stand-up, just funny. That's Al, funny for no reason, with universal crossover appeal. But turning down Chris Rock, that wasn't about knowing his lane. That was listening to the wrong advice. Now Al jokes he owes Chris money. I got a couple of ideas I want to talk to you about. Let's get it together. Quick, so fast. But underneath the humor is genuine regret for disrespecting someone he admired so deeply. In 2008, Al appeared in Glory Road with Josh Lucas, Derek Luke, and John Voight, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Smile. Everybody try to look Mexican.
I'm 6'3".
The man behind $3 billion worth of blockbusters. Bruckheimer was super cool, not the shark you'd expect. He taught Al something crucial. Talent doesn't guarantee success. Relationships do. John Voight became another unexpected friendship, showing Al's ability to connect across Hollywood's divides. But Al was getting frustrated with Hollywood's system.
I would say the battles that probably a lot of actors deal with, whether black, white, or other, is just Hollywood's tendency to do be repetitious, so to speak. Meaning they go with what works, they go with what you see, what they always see. It's the same actors over and over and over again in the same films.
Hollywood has a repetition problem. They cycle the same actors through the same roles across different films and TV shows. It's about guaranteeing revenue. Asses in seats equals box office receipts. Studios see familiar faces as safe bets. For someone like Al, this system makes breaking through exponentially harder. You're not just competing on talent, you're competing against comfort, established relationships, and fear of risk. So Al created his own opportunity. By 2012, Al watched friends go through bankruptcy. He watched Occupy Wall Street protesters unify without knowing what they were unifying for, accomplishing nothing. He decided to do something.
What I do is I use shocking comedy to get people's attention, because a lot of times when you preach to people, they turn a deaf ear to it or a blind eye to it. You Jedi mind trick them, a little Yoda action, and you give it to them funny. And by the time the movie's over, you're like...
The other black guy running for president was Al's way of using shocking comedy to wake people up, to Jedi mind trick them into thinking about politics, economics, and social issues. When you preach, people turn a deaf ear. You give it to them funny, and by the time the movie's over, they realize they've been tricked into thinking about something real. At the Iowa straw poll, Al showed up as the only black person in a sea of Republican voters and handed out penis straws. At a straw poll, penis straws. The reactions ranged from confused to outraged. But beneath the shock was a real message. Less than 60% of eligible voters had voted in the previous presidential election. 1 in 4 people weren't getting fed. Al wanted people to vote, to care, to do something beyond complaining from their couches. The documentary was self-funded. Al and his producers financed it themselves. No super PACs, just Super PAC Man, making it happen through their own money. They had a small crew because the smaller you are, the more stealth you can move.
So we decided, let's actually do this. All we need is a small crew of people, whatever, because the smaller you are, the more stealthy you can move. Then we decided, you know what, let's go and campaign for presidency. Let's try to get signatures. Let's go down to Venice Beach.
It dropped on iTunes and exploded. Pre-orders hit 350,000 downloads. By launch day, that number pushed toward 400,000. Al did press runs everywhere, spreading the message. Al's been blessed to be around comedy's greatest legends: Eddie Murphy, Will Smith, Chris Tucker. He's been to Eddie Murphy's house multiple times, even broke in once, though he leaves that story untold. What struck him most? Their talent wasn't just for cameras. Eddie, Will, Chris Tucker, they're just as funny in person. That funny doesn't turn off. It's not performance. It's who they are. That realization shaped Al's understanding of his own gift. He's always on too. Not because he's trying to be, but because that's genuinely who he is.
Beverly Hills Cop,
funny as
Eddie,
fuck.
crazy, batshit crazy, over the top, and just naturally, organically like that. Like Eddie Murphy, been to Eddie Murphy's house a couple times. I broke in one time. Eddie, shh, you didn't know that. But no, yeah, just.
Al married Narisha Kalashavelm, a Sri Lankan-born model and actress who goes by Reed. Before becoming his partner, Narisha had her own successful career as a video vixen in the 2000s, appearing in music videos for Outkast, Cassidy, Mobb Deep, Slum Village, and Ludacris. She transitioned from that world into acting, appearing in shows like Till Death and building her own entertainment career.
What about this? It's a push-up bra with a gel curve.
Oh, it's a gel. Look at that, Eddie.
Yep, it's good. It's great. Grab 4 of them and let's get the hell out of here.
Their relationship showcases his softer side. On Risha's podcast, Under the Influence, a different Al emerges.
People ask me all the time, they may be like, do you ever get angry with him? Yes, I do. But it's like a quick, like,
Flash in the pan.
yeah, and then he just makes everything
Yeah, it's
so
always
funny.
over
And it's
stupid
like,
stuff.
why? I don't want to laugh right now. I want to be angry at you right
It's not
now.
me trying to make you laugh.
No, it's just how you are.
Riche asks if he ever gets angry with her. Yes, but it's quick, and then you just make everything. He trails off laughing. It's not me trying to make you laugh, it's just how you are. Riche agrees, that's how you are. Comedy isn't something Al does, it's something he is. Standing at 6'4" with his signature high-energy presence, Al has maintained the same charismatic look over the years. The couple keeps details about whether they have children private, maintaining boundaries between their public personas and family life. When asked about the Me Too movement and cancel culture, Al doesn't hold back. Society is becoming too conservative where everything is a touchy subject. It's turned into cancel culture where everyone jumps on the bandwagon to exile someone. People are too sensitive. But Al draws a clear line. When someone's touching inappropriately, propositioning, unwanted, pushing repeatedly, swift justice. Judge, jury, executioner. If someone's attacking women, being a predator, cut them off. But if someone's saying those shoes are dope or a pretty outfit today, that's an innocent compliment. People have become hypercritical of everything. You should know when something crosses the line. Women have been underrepresented in Hollywood for too long. It's time for them to shine in front of and behind cameras. Absolutely. A lot of women had their careers, psyche, and well-being diminished by predators. Sometimes in Hollywood, it takes a moment to put something in the limelight before people shift their weight toward it. And it's not just women. Minorities deserve opportunities too. Not just black people, but Asian, Malaysian, Cape Verdean, Dominican. Everybody gets their time to shine. This is America, land of the free, home of the brave. Give everybody their shot. Beyond how high, punked and
Your arm. There's no way he's gonna.
Damn it.
I programmed it. I've got 13 sets of codes in there. He cut it.
man.
Glory Road. Al built a steady career across the Scary Movie franchise, various BET programming, comedy specials, and guest appearances on major sitcoms. His most consistent work came from being himself. When asked about future projects, Al mentioned two things he couldn't discuss but described as building sandcastles to determine the pyramids. Classic Al. As of 2025, Al Shearer has stepped back from mainstream Hollywood's grind. He's selective about projects, choosing authenticity over paychecks. His net worth sits around $3 million. Built through decades of steady work rather than one massive breakthrough. Now 47 years old and still standing at an imposing 6'4", Al maintains his energetic presence. He remains active on Instagram at Hits from the Streets with 27,000 followers, where he describes himself as a smartass, wise-ass, and badass, an all-around wild cowboy. His social media shares comedy clips, political commentary, and daily life glimpses. Unlike carefully curated celebrities, Al's social media feels like hits from the street energy decades later. Raw, authentic, unfiltered. While there's no public information about current film or TV projects, Al continues to build his brand through podcasts, social media content, and selective appearances. He's focused on content he controls, platforms where he can be himself without Hollywood's filters. And he still mentions in nearly every interview that he's looking for Chris Rock. Chris, if you see this, I'm looking for you. That search continues. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. But the fact that he keeps bringing it up shows it matters. Al Shearer never became a movie star like his manager wanted, never replaced Chris Rock on HBO, never turned punked into leading man status. But he did something more valuable. He stayed himself. He built a career on authenticity, on being the class clown who refused to pretend he was anything else. In Hollywood, where everyone's trying to be someone they're not, where image consultants craft every public moment, where fake guests force themselves to attend dinners they don't want, Al Shearer remained the same guy who walked up to strangers on BET with a camera and made them laugh. That's not failure. That's integrity. And as Al would say, quick so fast, that's more valuable than any role Chris Rock could have offered. The question isn't whether Al Shearer succeeded in Hollywood. The question is whether Hollywood was ever ready for someone who refused to play by its rules. He's still building sandcastles to determine pyramids. Still looking for Chris Rock. Still making people laugh without trying.